If you saw me sculpting in the past, you might have wondered about the measurements that I do with my sculpting tool. And this is a small trick that I learned over the years to be able to move quicker, to have some proportions learned by heart, and to speed up the process. And people have been asking me about, what are you doing there? Can you explain that? So this video is about the idea behind these measurements. With sculpting, you want to be able to automate as many steps as possible while doing the anatomical stages of your piece in order to be able to focus on the artistic and the expressive aspects of your sculpture. And a good way to do this is to find a way to learn some proportions by heart. What I mean by that is, for example, the 8 heads rule for the height of a figure. Now, that is not only a very idealistic way to look at a body and a very idealistic or idealized proportion. Most people are probably somewhere around the 6.5 to 7 heads tall anyway, and not in this idealized proportion. However, it helps with defining your body, your figure, at least in the initial stages, at least when it comes to height. However, this shortcut does not really help you with figures that are not really posed like an anatomy reference or Ecorche without a lot of movement or posture. So what we actually want is a system that works even in a very dynamic and dramatic pose as well. This sort of golden or magic measurement has been looked for through art history. And for example, I read that Leonardo da Vinci did measure the whole figure in eye widths, but I have not found any reference to that anywhere on the internet. And while it works, it might be a bit impractical to measure the full body in eye lengths. However, it works, and if you take the width of 5 eyes, you have the width of the head. With this measurement, we can also find the length of the top of the head to the base of the nose. Let's do it like that. And we will see this measurement subsequently composing all of the body. I've been using this measurement ever since I visited a few masterclasses a while back, and it has become second nature to me. But as I did some research on who actually came up with it, I wasn't very successful and I couldn't really get to the bottom of who came up with this idea. The only reference that I found was Andrew Ecorche, who also founded anatomically.com and who also did this Ecorche reference piece. Anyway, we defined the first measurement, and let's find that again. Top of the head to the bottom of the nose, also the width of the head. And if you ever did 3D digital, then you probably started with an egg-shaped head, added a nose, and you already have that basic measurement. We can now use this measurement to track all the important bony landmarks that will eventually compose the entirety of a human body in every pose you can imagine. And it will also be anatomically correct every time. Moving down with this measurement from the bottom of the nose, what you can find is the top of the sternum. And if we take that same measurement, we have the length of the clavicula. This also gives you the length of the scapula and also the height of the scapula, as you can see. Additionally, if you look at it from the side, this also gives you the depth of your shoulder girdle. Continuing on, this measurement also gives us the end of the sternum and the edges of our rib cage. Further down, it helps us tracking the ilium, or more precisely the superior anterior iliac spine that you can see here, where we have a couple of muscles of the upper leg attaching. The upper leg is made up out of 3 of these going down to the middle of the kneecap. The lower leg is 3 of those measurements as well. We can take about half of this measurement for the height of a foot. The upper arm to the elbow is 2 of those measurements too. And if you move further down, the lower arm up to the knuckles is 2 of those as well. Like I said, this measurement works in any pose and will always result in anatomically correct figures. Let me know in the comments if this was of any help to you, and tell me about any other sculpting tricks and shortcuts that you have to help speed up your process and make your sculpture more reliable. For now, stay creative and see you next video.